Viewers, brace yourselves, South Africa's political drama has reached a shocking new chapter. Recently, explosive recordings of a heated phone call between President Cyril Ramaphosa and ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula have surfaced, shaking the political landscape. The twist: the person responsible for leaking the tapes is none other than Mbalula himself. These recordings are not based on rumor, speculation, or second-hand gossip. They are raw, unfiltered evidence, filled with raised voices, fierce accusations, and tensions so palpable that one feels drawn into the storm itself. For years, South Africans have heard whispers of internal divisions within the ANC, but never before have they been given such an unedited glimpse into the heart of the conflict. This moment marks a turning point, one that could reshape the political destiny of the nation. But before diving into the shocking content of these tapes, viewers are urged to subscribe and stay updated, because this is no sensational headline or passing controversy. It is an unfolding saga, where every twist and revelation matters. The ANC, South Africa's ruling party, has weathered countless storms, email leaks, corruption inquiries, and factional battles, but this scandal stands apart. This time, the party's own Secretary-General has directly taken aim at the president himself. It is an act of defiance and betrayal wrapped in one explosive moment. Captured vividly in the leaked recording, the exchange between Ramaphosa and Mbalula is not merely tense, it's volcanic. Their argument spirals into a clash over leadership, accountability, and the future of the ANC. Ramaphosa, long seen as calm, composed, and reform-minded, appears here as defensive, agitated, and visibly strained. Mbalula, in contrast, emerges fearless and combative, unafraid to voice what many South Africans have long felt but few dared to say. The timing of the leak is crucial. Just days earlier, Ramaphosa dramatically walked out of an ANC meeting after facing intense criticism from his own members. The party was already bleeding from internal rifts, and this confrontation seems to have been the breaking point for Mbalula. So, what exactly do these recordings reveal? In the first instance, Mbalula's voice dominates the conversation, acidic and relentless. He accuses Ramaphosa of being disconnected from the everyday struggles of ordinary South Africans, surging unemployment, rolling blackouts, deep-rooted corruption, and collapsing public services. His tone is scathing, his language sharp, as he demands decisive leadership and insists that the ANC can no longer rely on its past glories to justify its present failures. Then comes Ramaphosa's rebuttal. The president, long known for his calm authority, begins to lose his composure. In raised tones, he chastises Mbalula for undermining party unity, warning that such open defiance could provoke a civil war within the ANC. His desperate insistence on unity exposes the immense pressure he's under, his effort to defend his leadership now stripped of its usual calm exterior. The argument soon erupts into chaos. Voices overlap, tempers flare. At one point, Mbalula shouts, "We cannot keep pretending things are fine when the people are suffering." Ramaphosa fires back, "And we cannot lead through chaos." These are not just words exchanged in anger, they symbolize a deeper ideological split within the ANC, reform versus resistance, order versus rebellion, silence versus confrontation. And so the question arises, why would Mbalula deliberately leak these damning recordings? Analysts have scrambled to decode his motives. One theory points to a power move. By exposing the internal conflict, Mbalula positions himself as the fearless truth-teller, the bold reformer willing to confront Ramaphosa when others remain silent. Another explanation suggests a play for public sympathy. By releasing the tapes, Mbalula appeals directly to disillusioned citizens, aligning himself with their frustrations and portraying himself as the champion of the people. The most alarming possibility, however, is that this is part of a calculated political coup, a strategic strike designed to weaken Ramaphosa's grip on the ANC, broadcast his faltering leadership to the world, and embolden his critics from within. Whatever the motive, the fallout has been seismic. Within hours, hashtags related to the tapes were trending across the country. Public opinion split sharply. Some praised Mbalula, saying that at last, someone within the ANC had the courage to speak the truth. Others condemned him as a traitor, accusing him of recklessness and endangering national stability by airing private party matters so publicly. Inside the ANC, the reaction has been even more furious. Members of the National Executive Committee are reportedly livid, many demanding disciplinary action or even Mbalula's expulsion for disrespecting the president and tarnishing the party's image. Yet, behind closed doors, a quieter faction admits that Mbalula merely said what many have been too afraid to voice, that the ANC is broke, directionless, and rapidly losing the people's trust. For President Ramaphosa, this is nothing short of a nightmare. Years of careful image building, of control, calmness, and authority have been undone in mere minutes. The tapes expose not a confident leader in charge, but a man cornered and defensive. His vulnerability is now public knowledge, a weakness his political enemies are certain to exploit. The pressing question now is whether Ramaphosa can recover from this blow, or if the tapes mark the beginning of his political decline. In South African politics, weakness is rarely forgiven. Once the aura of strength fades, it is nearly impossible to restore. Yet, the scandal is not just a personal humiliation for Ramaphosa. It symbolizes something much deeper, the identity crisis within the ANC itself. Once the proud party of liberation, it now finds itself consumed by factionalism, mistrust, and bitter infighting. Instead of tackling the nation's mounting crises, power shortages, joblessness, and economic stagnation, its leaders are locked in personal battles for dominance. With national elections looming, this internal collapse could prove disastrous, potentially clearing the path for opposition parties to rise. For ordinary South Africans, the reaction has been mixed. On one hand, the recordings validate their long-held suspicions that the ANC's leadership is imploding under the weight of its own failures. On the other, it deepens their despair. At a time when the country desperately needs unity and visionary leadership, its top officials are shouting over the phone, airing their divisions for the world to hear. Fikile Mbalula's decision to leak this conversation has transformed simmering political tension into an outright crisis. These tapes expose raw anger, distrust, and a fierce struggle for control at the highest levels of government. And one thing is certain, the aftermath of this scandal will reverberate far beyond the walls of Luthuli House. It may very well change the course of South African politics forever.